Welcome to Watching the Elite Live. It's me, Frank. I'm here with Chuck.
Yo!
We're doing this show that we do where we talk about everything all Elite Wrestling. AEW Dark, BTE, Dynamite, anything else notable that happens in the world of all Elite Wrestling. Chuck, how are you doing today, buddy?
Oh, you know, back in the closet, enjoying a delicious original cola-flavored Revive kombucha.
Ooh, I'm enjoying a Sapporo.
Very nice, classic. Vintage Frank.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it was a calculus when I went into the fridge because just pull back the curtain on this show that we do. When I hit that countdown thing, I usually just go get a drink.
Yeah.
Or I come back, sit down, and I looked in the fridge and I'm like, what's the largest drink in here? Because I realized towards the end of the show, I'm usually like a little parched. I've usually gone through like a can of Croy or something.
Sure.
Now some people, they get like a big cup of water.
Yeah.
Not this guy. Not me.
That ain't water.
That ain't water.
Yeah.
All right. So before I came on the air, Bitsol, thank you so much for your tier 1 sub.
Sick.
Dude, a whole year. I really appreciate it, Bitsol. Thank you for often being the first person whenever I fire up. I appreciate it. Bertrand, thank you so much for your 8-month resub. That's hitting right about now.
Pretty cool.
It did it, but I don't think it popped up on the screen, so we're gonna have to work on this stuff. I gotta spend some time with the old WT.
That stuff's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, for some reason it just didn't pop up. Also, my chroma key's all messed up again, so that's cool. There we go.
Huh. Yeah.
Yep, just fix it up there. All right. So let's get into it. Let's make this happen. Let's talk about sport professional wrestling.
Love it.
All right, so we're going to start off, as we customarily do, with AEW Dark. Loaded show, as always.
Dude, they just keep getting longer. Did you see on Twitter a couple days ago, Tony Khan threatened us with a good time. Longest Dark ever on Tuesday coming up.
I don't want that. I don't need a 2-hour
12 matches, Frank. 12!
It's longer than their main show at this point. There's more wrestling in this than their main show.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
Man. Is it because they did well in the demo?
Dude, they the finale of the was it the Young Bucks and the Butcher and the Blade match scored over 1 million views.
Yep. Yeah, but
not that we care about ratings and stuch.
We're not ratings marks here.
Yeah. We're body guys. We're not ratings marks.
Yeah. We're marks for Canadian destroyers here on Watching
It's
the
true.
Live. All right, first matchup. Rache Chanel returning to face AEW Women's Champion Hikaru Shida.
Oh, Frank. What are we doing?
So, I mean, as you can see, I chose this particular screenshot.
Yes.
For this match. Oh boy, this Tron is the best Tron that anyone has.
I figured you'd be up to this one. It's Bubsy-esque. It's very much.
It really is. It's Bubsy-esque. So, like, I looked a little bit more into Rache Chanel, student of Booker T's wrestling school, Reality of Wrestling.
Yeah. 9 years experience, I said on commentary.
9 years experience.
Years.
Seems a bit green, so let's go check out the old WrestlePlex 500.
Well, you know, I just figured out the name. So I'm watching Dark with the tag team partner, and she points this out, so credit to her. So the name is a twist on, you know, like some people say Target, they say Target, make it sound fancy. She's Rache, she's Ratchet. She's Rache Chanel. Is the bit.
That's the bit.
Yeah, that's the bit.
All
so,
right.
look, she's got a character. It's fully realized. I respect the effort that she puts into that.
Yeah,
I do think
there's some good and like there's the way that she weaves the gimmick into her wrestling.
Yes.
Like, I wanted to point out, like, when she starts to run the ropes, when she's gonna go bounce off the ropes, she kind of prances into it. But then when she actually comes off the ropes, she comes over the momentum. I thought that was really funny and really different.
Totally.
There's something there in this gimmick, but maybe it's the gimmick is too much. And
well, I was gonna say it gets in the way of her actual wrestling sometimes.
Yeah, I think it gets in the way of all of the things they're doing here. So I can't even find Rache Chanel on Cage Match.
Wild. Yeah, a couple of the
it's a
enhancement
new
people.
gimmick for her.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Could very well be. I was shocked when they said 9 years experience because I don't want to like pile on anybody, but like I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it might be a case where, you know, she's just worked like a few indie shows in Texas. Like, while
Sure. Yeah, she could be like a weekend warrior kind of thing. I mean, very much like look at Brandon Cutler. You know, took years and years off. You know, maybe she just needs some ring experience. You know, it's a bright spotlight, and she'll round into her. She'll show us something in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So I believe she had a more understated gimmick before under the name Raquel Vaughn, which is her real name.
Okay.
Raquel
so
is like a cool
She's
name.
doing something different here, trying to stand out.
Yeah, this is like a new bit, I think.
Huh. Well, you know what? More power to her.
Yeah. But yeah, not my favorite match. A lot of static here, but I love the Tron.
Totally.
So,
Oh, I will say one thing that I really liked that she did. She had that unique counter for the Falcon Arrow into the small package. I thought that was nice and
yeah,
it was pretty cool.
There's a few really cool things that she's doing here. I just think that gimmick is so much.
Yeah, agreed.
But there's a few cool integrations of the gimmick into the actual wrestling, which I always really appreciate. But if we talk about every match like this, we're gonna be here for the next 10 years.
That's true. Yeah. I don't have as much to say about some of the other ones.
Kip Sabian, Corey Hollis. I don't even have a screenshot for it. I just wanted to point out that Taz said the way that Kip Sabian drinks a bottle of water is like he's making out with the bottle. It makes him uncomfortable.
Taz on fire this week, let me tell you.
Oh, he's in like full like Rocket Buster like type territory. Like he is making up new turns of phrase. Like, he is it's the good business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So two things about this match,
Yes.
specifically about Corey Hollis. So I actually kind of enjoyed this. I thought Corey was good. I think Corey's good very small. He's very small.
Yeah.
Like in stature, his height is just like he's just a very short man. Also, he's got Janela tights, like the kind of low cut tights, and I was terribly afraid they were gonna fall off of him.
Yeah, you don't want those low cut tights. He's like Corey. Like I mean, I'm gonna critique gear for the next like, hour, but yeah. Corey Hollis, I thought looked really good in there. I think he's about the same size as like Adam Cole. So
yeah, you're probably right.
If he puts it together, I think he'll be fine. I think I thought he had a good performance here.
Oh, absolutely. He's like kind of FTR-esque.
Yeah. Yeah. Kip Sabian, like a showcase match for him. He always showcases his opponents a little bit more, kind of like how Darby Allin does like later in the show. Yes. Always gives his opponents a lot more than he usually has to. Like, you know, or like not than what he usually has to, but more than he ever has to. Like this is an enhancement match. You're meant to look good, Kip, and he always like gets his ass kicked for a huge portion of the match.
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense though, as like especially fitting in with his character. But like one of the things that Kip Sabian does best is take an ass kicking. Yeah, it's kind of like Sammy Guevara. Like he is so good at selling, you might as well do a little of that even in an enhancement match. You know.
Speaking of Sammy Guevara, I actually went back and watched some of the first Dynamite because I wanted to remember what it was like to see wrestling with a crowd.
Oh,
yeah. And it was like opening up with that Cody and Sammy Guevara match. And how much Sammy's like growing as like a performer like throughout the AEW run. But that's neither here nor there. Kip Sabian and Corey Hollis, they had a match. Here we go. Best friends. Brady Pierce and the debut of Sabby.
This is so strange. So
Tino Sabatelli from NXT, former NFL player, 6-year NFL pro.
Yeah.
Got let go by NXT after a huge amount of time there. Riddick Moss is still signed, but Tino Sabatelli is not. I'm sure Tino's like NXT deal was like a pretty nice deal too.
Sure. No, totally. Like
he's an expensive guy, but Sabby.
So they're calling him Sabby. He's wearing his Sabatelli tights still.
It's a Tino. It's Tino.
Or Tino, the Tino tights. And they referred to him as, his name is Sabatino Pensarelli or Pensacoli. Like, they very confused here. I mean, I'm sure this isn't going to be a full-time thing. This might be like a cameo appearance for him.
Yeah, so his actual name is Sabatino Piscatelli. Just use that.
Oh, so that's what they did. Okay, so they called that out on commentary. So I guess that's like Sabby's the nickname.
Tino Sabatelli thing is they combine his first name with his last name.
Fucking weird. NXT naming conventions make no sense to me.
Yeah. Okay, so your last name will be your first name and last name put together, and then your first name's gonna be half of your first name.
Right. It's kind of a double Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
You know.
Very silly. Dude,
This is fine. Fine.
I liked Tino Sabatelli and Brady Pierce together, dude.
Yeah, it's a good little team. I still think that Brady Pierce should be teamed up with Austin Gunn to be team punchable faces, but I don't mind this.
I thought Brady Pierce would have worked as the Sean Spears tag team partner, but instead, Brady Pierce has inherited Sean Spears' gimmick of trying to find a tag team partner. So
Right.
That, by the way, that's one of the few AEW angles that has just like evaporated. Like,
Totally. Yeah, I think that was like
COVID
obviously.
time.
Yes, I was gonna say casualty of COVID.
Yeah, but seriously, like that's like the only time I think they've just like completely dropped a thread. In chat, you can correct me if you so desire. But Tino, okay, here are my thoughts through the match. You're reminded how big Trent is.
Yeah.
By him standing next to Tino Sabatelli, because like I remember Tino in NXT just making everyone look tiny.
Right.
Like he's leaned down a bit. But like Tino's huge, and like Trent's right there with him, so that's cool. Big boy Trent, heavyweight Trent.
You know it.
Tino 100% showed what you can get out of that WWE NXT system, which is just like how perfectly crisp the limited amount of things that he did were.
Right.
Like okay, so he has that great drop kick that looked awesome, and I think Tino might have like. We actually talked about Irish whips a bit on our other show. This is awesome. Very recently. Got a new episode coming out where we go into the quality of Bret Hart's Bret Hart's Irish whips, and how he takes them. Tino jumps and lunges into this like Irish whip, and it's awesome.
He also had a really great spot. He like kind of did that. You know what? He caught. I think it was Chuck Taylor and did a power slam counter.
Yeah,
as he came up the top, I think he was trying to do a tope. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, Tino was good, man. Like, I'm glad to see him kind of get this like opportunity. I thought him and Brady Pierce like work together. I think ideally my tag team is probably like a Brady Pierce, like Sean Spears. Yeah. But Tino was like, he needs like a bit more of a gimmick other than like the hey I look good kind of deal. But if he could like integrate like a little bit of like self-effacing humor into it, like a bit, and you know maybe add a couple like impressive moves, you know, it's I think there's something there with Tino Sabatelli.
Yeah, I mean you're spot on. He's definitely polished. Like there was only one time in the match I think where he kind of screwed up the timing of that double tope spot because he just wasn't ready to catch Chuck yet. But I mean other than that, yeah, everything looks so crisp. I was impressed.
Yeah, he kind of made Chuck look sloppy in this match.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Chuck,
I mean, that's part of Chuck's gimmick.
Chuck wasn't fired on all cylinders. We had T-shirt Chuck this week.
Absolutely. I'm
a big Chuck Taylor fan. But also, this is the match where Taz said, "Cooking on all cylinders."
Yes. That's what you do, Frank. Right?
You cook on all cylinders.
You cook on all of them.
Yeah. Moving on. Ricky Starks versus Big Will Hobbs. Not sure about Ricky Starks' entrance.
Really? What's you don't like his like poses and stuff? What do you mean?
Yeah, but where's the robe? He had that robe for like a minute.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he forgot it.
I missed the robe. I felt like that kind of completes it. Otherwise, he's just like. Here's the thing, as soon as you put a robe on, you can act as weird as you want in wrestling.
Sure.
Like
everybody knows that.
Or you could wear a robe like Brandon Cutler and then take it off and it has nothing to do with your gimmick at all.
Sure.
But,
it's a vestigial trait from being pretty Peter Avalon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of attitude out of Ricky Starks, but I tell you what, Will Hobbs was awesome.
Yes.
Like,
very impressed.
I honestly was like more impressed with Will Hobbs like in ring work than Ricky Starks. Outside of like Ricky Starks like gigantic character.
Right.
Getting his finish on Hobbs was super impressive at the end there.
I was terrified when he got him up for that. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's a very impressive finish. You know, just this last week, I was saying Starks is probably going to have to develop a secondary finisher because he's not going to be able to do that move to guys that are bigger than him. Well, prove me wrong. Shit.
Yeah, Ricky Starks clearly listens to the show, clearly hates us.
God,
but,
you know, it's funny in my notes here. Not to give you any spoilers. One of the things I was like, boy, this Taz, he really loves Ricky Starks. Interesting.
Yeah, we kind of worked that out pretty quickly on this one.
Yeah.
Also, what's up,
Hey,
Jay
Jay
Ronan?
Ronan, what up? Yeah.
Just talking about wrestling. So yeah, good match.
True.
Scorpio Sky, Aaron Solo. So I didn't know a whole lot about Aaron Solo. So I started to read about him. He has a profile on the New Japan Pro Wrestling site, actually.
Really?
Yes, because it says he graduated from the Fale Dojo, which is in New Zealand.
Right.
And he spent some time down there, but he's been wrestling since 2011.
Wow.
And Fale's Dojo hasn't been open that long, so he's been in a bunch of different places. I guess he must have just gone through the Fale Dojo just to kind of like re-up stuff, or they're working a little bit. So he worked all the Lions Break shows, the New Japan Young Lion shows that they've been doing in like Anaheim.
Yeah.
As part of Chara Expo, like the like anime and card convention kind of deal. So he did like the Melbourne, New Zealand loop when New Japan did their shows down there as well.
Okay.
At one point, tagging with Alex Zane, which is kind of cool. So yeah, he's been around for a while, but he was Ricky Stark's tag team partner in Wrestle Circus.
Got it. Okay, I was wondering what the connection was going to be. Yeah.
And I believe lives in Florida now because he is Bailey's fiance.
Really?
Yeah, Aaron Solo. So just want to work the guy out. I thought Aaron Solo was really good.
Oh, absolutely. I really enjoyed his work. He's a great entrance theme. It's very like chill hip hop backbeat kind of a vibe.
But then Scorpio's got like the West Coast like 90s hip hop theme as well.
Totally. Yeah. I want to say that what I like about the way that some wrestlers approach these matches, and Scorpio is one of these guys where you can tell that he's like, okay, I'm going to have this enhancement match. It's supposed to make me look good. I'm going to pick one thing this match. And the premise of this match is I want to show off that I have this skill. And this one seems to be like, I want to show that I can do like my version of mat wrestling or my version of chain wrestling. And Scorpio's got a lot of really cool, interesting stuff that he does. And I'm just really excited to see, him evolve and grow as a singles wrestler as this push continues. Yeah.
So they are juicing the wins on Dark for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more character-wise out of Scorp as well. Like, you kind of see it like at the end of the match. But like, I want to see some really good promos out of him. Like, I feel like that's the thing that they're going to have to kind of work out the most, not work on, because I think Scorp's a good promo, but it's just like they got to work out what his angle is.
Right. He's got to evolve past the worst town bit.
Yeah. And also that he's just kind of like a nice, fun guy.
Right. Like, give him a little edge, Frank. Give him a little bit of that edge.
Oh, yeah. Edgelord, Scorpio Sky.
No.
Hey, guys, you ever go on 4chan?
He says what we're all thinking, Frank. He says what we're all thinking.
Oh, my God. His favorite show's still South Park in the year 2020.
He calls all of his opponents, like, turd sandwiches.
Oh, God. But, yeah, good match. I thought Solo looked good. Scorp, enhancement match, so...
Yeah,
look good too. KILYNN King and Diamante. So they're like Diamante 0-3 coming into this match.
Yep.
So again, Dark is used for working on the win-loss records of wrestlers in AEW. It's something that you recognized immediately. Go ahead.
Oh, it's completely necessary though. You know what I mean? I think that like. I don't think the idea of like win-loss records even works without Dark as an outlet like this. You know what I mean? It legitimizes their system basically. and fills out the ecosystem in a way that, like, I know we joke around about how these shows are getting longer and it's like we don't want to have to watch them, but at the same time, like, I'm glad it exists. You know?
So saying that, this was, I think, the easiest long dark that I've had to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they're figuring it out.
Yeah. Because honestly, I think that secondary show is not going to be dark anymore.
Right.
The second, like, maybe I'll use the name. I feel like the secondary show is going to be like a little closer to like main AEW.
Right. I think that's the way to go for sure.
Yeah, and Dark is the YouTube show where literally it exists for your win-loss records, enhancement matches, and to try out new wrestlers and see if it resonates. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So KILYNN King and Diamante. KILYNN King's theme reminds me of when you go to a bar, like you're just going out to a bar with some friends, and there's some rock band playing, and you're really bummed out about it. Like, it's like, oh man, I'm just gonna go have a drink with my friends, and then some band walks up on stage.
You're like, shit.
And you're like you're a part of it too. Like, oh god, I'm in this audience, and like I have to clap and shit for this. Like, otherwise I'm a dick.
Dude, I very much got the vibes of like back, like you're a wrestler on the WCW roster in like 1996, and you ask the people making that your entrance theme, you're like, give me something that sounds like Man in the Box.
Yeah, I want. What's your favorite genre of music? Hard rock.
Oh boy.
So.
Oh boy.
So this is better than the match that Diamante and Ivelisse have, in my opinion.
Oh, you really think so? I mean, I thought this was the best match on the card for Dark, save for I think the last one, which I really enjoyed. But
I liked a couple matches on here, but no, I liked Diamante and KILYNN King. I'm just saying I liked Diamante and KILYNN King more than I liked Diamante and Ivelisse.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, Ivelisse definitely looked a little unmotivated, but I guess we'll talk about that when we get to that match. But yeah, overall, good match. The Code Red finish was really cool. Dig it.
Yeah, Diamante has a great character. KILYNN King, I think, was struggling to wrestle someone who was much shorter than them.
Yes.
Like, KILYNN King had to, like, kind of, like, be low the entire time.
Yeah, she's definitely got the vibe of somebody who's, like, kind of, like, still figuring it out, but has a lot of natural talent. So she's probably, like, she's featured a lot more than maybe someone of her, like, comparable skill level. But I think that, like, just shows you, like, the confidence that they have in her. And I think she's got a lot of talent.
Oh, I think KILYNN King's very, very good. Yeah, I feel like KILYNN King is a no-brainer for the women's tag tournament.
Absolutely.
So, okay, moving on. Robert Anthony versus Darby Allin. He's dropped the all ego name.
Yeah. Although Excalibur called him ego a couple times, which is kind of fun. Well,
also, it's just like Excalibur recognizes the fact that they basically had like a similar gimmick of Lucha Man because he was Egotistico Fantastico.
Right.
I'm glad he dropped his robe because I don't think it matches his deal. Again, we're talking about clothes here today, guys. Just
Frank,
clothes.
you have taken Joaquin's gimmick of wrestling sartorialist.
I try my best. Also, Joaquin never shows up, so
that's true. He does not. That bum.
But I honestly think he should just like switch to some regular gear. I don't think he needs like the crazy print pants because the attitude he's showing me is like deathmatch guy, right? Like he's got this big attitude. He's this hard-hitting dude. Like, why is he wearing like wacky tights? Like a guy like Edge, I think can kind of get away with that. But like, I don't think Robert Anthony's like a weird tights guy. I think he's like a wear some busted jeans type of guy. Like,
I could see that. I'd actually like that a lot. But dude, the story of this match is incredible. I really, really like this. Like that. Like,
oh my god,
basically,
it's genius.
Yeah, just like the way that like how the entire story is just like Ego Fantastico trying to not let the fact that like Darby doesn't give a shit about anything get on his nerves. Like the frustration in his character really showed through here.
Yeah, and then also Darby was going for the arm a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's practicing his arm strategy for when he eventually has to fight Brian Cage.
Right. Picking up the same strategy from Moxley, sort of tipping the cap early that these two are going to have some kind of working relationship.
Yeah. And the idea that it's just like all these guys have fought Robert Anthony.
Right.
And Cage put him away immediately. Mox struggled and Darby's struggling too. So the kind of idea is it's still like Brian Cage is still like the strongest dude. And like I love that he's using like Robert Anthony as an enhancement talent, as like a measuring stick of like how powerful each wrestler is.
Right, and it's really, really brilliant. It's a really brilliant way to get that information, conveyed. And it's one of those things where it's there if you want it, but like I bet most people probably didn't even put those two things together. You know what I mean?
And most people didn't even watch this. The numbers are going up on Dark. They are going up, which is super weird.
I think like almost 500,000 this week.
It's so long, guys. It's so long. There's so much going on here. Just so much going on. The rolling surfboard into a facebuster, Darby made look like $1 million.
Very cool. I think it's like my favorite spot of the whole episode.
Yeah, it's just really cool in general. Darby took so many unnecessary bumps, though.
That's the story of his life, man.
Yeah, I worry for him. Like, I don't worry for him in the way, like, when he does, like, the barrel drop or anything like that. Like, but I worry for him just, like, grinding himself down.
Right.
In a match on Dark. But I guess, I mean, it's his first match back, right? So he just wanted to come out firing all cylinders.
It's the first match back, but, like, he's definitely one of those guys who...
What cooking on all cylinders, as Taz said.
Cooking on all cylinders, yeah, but he doesn't have, like, an off switch. Or he has... It's either on or off. There's no dimmer switch for Darby Allin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But big story is, after the match, Ricky Starks and Brian Cage are a unit.
Yep.
There's, like... That effortless, like, German suplex into the ring on Darby.
Amazing.
Was crazy. I love that he doesn't need anyone's help for doing the multiple power bombs like Brock did.
Yep.
Like, where like, everyone else, Jericho too, they would always, like, grab the hands of their opponent, like, when they did the multiple power bomb spot.
That extra leverage.
Yeah, and Brian Cage just, like, grabs people and then it's like, okay, I guess I'll use their belt.
Right.
Like, just, like, muscling people up. It was great. I liked their combo finish.
Yep.
Thought that was really cool. I like Cage's attitude when the refs are trying to get him out of the ring too. Like that's always been like kind of the missing piece of Brian Cage for me, is like him having to finally have that like bad guy attitude, because he's always come across as like kind of like a nice kind of doofy guy. Like,
no, totally. Yeah, he's a big dork.
Yeah,
he's a gym rat. Like he's a meathead. Yeah.
Yeah, but and again, like I missed a lot of his stuff in Lucha Underground, like those last couple seasons. Like it was hard to watch because the episodes were infrequent.
Right.
So maybe he had like a bit more of that there. But yeah, I like the attitude here. I like that we were rewarded for watching Dark, because, they essentially solidify this angle the next night on Dynamite. Very clever.
Yeah. What do you think of this pairing? Starks and Brian Cage.
There's a lot of... I mean, I would like it, I think, if it was more of a... How do I put this? If it was more a loose affiliation rather than like Team Taz.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like to see out of this, because I like wrestlers knowing each other and having alliances and friendships. But there are a lot of managers and a lot of units in AEW to keep track of, and we're kind of hitting like peak. However, Brian Cage needs a heater, because otherwise he's going to lose too often.
Exactly. I was just going to say that was the point I was going to bring up, was that it's like, this makes sense to me. It puts the gatekeeper in front of Brian Cage, a way to escalate his feuds.
Yeah. And I'm glad that they're putting that kind of effort into building Brian Cage. It seems like they, on the monster tier list, I think they see a lot more in Brian Cage than they do in Lance Archer right now.
Right.
But Wardlow is just kind of like bubbling away in the background there, who I think they see as a major player.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what they do with this. I mean, it's good to have this many monsters, but at the same time, to not repeat your storytelling tropes and beats over and over again with the same guys, but also like having to worry about keeping all of them strong while also like having them featured often on the show. Like
keeping them off TV, I think, is the best thing. Like,
right, and they're doing it right with Lance Archer, like having him do these, these sketches and beating the shit out of people backstage.
We'll talk about that.
We'll get there. We'll
get to that. I'm gonna get us to our main event. It's main event time. Peter Avalon, Brandon Cutler versus Butcher and the Blade. Cutler and Avalon MVPs as always.
Yes, the best
of Dark.
Butcher, they have a team name now, Frank. They have a team name now. I was on Twitter.
What is it?
Their team name is The Initiative.
Huh. Because they roll for initiative.
Correct. It's something.
It's something. Butcher and the Blade are awesome.
Dude, the
Butcher
best.
and the Blade are awesome. They're great. And then on Dynamite, they just like blow it out of the water. Like, talk about like a complete star-making performance and pulling 1 million viewers.
Absolutely.
Because it's not just the Bucks who are getting people watching in that. That's them too. Like, to think that they kind of came in as like an enhancement tag team.
Right.
And then they just kind of had this bubbling away, and now it's like they're surging up. It's great. Talk about this match. So Avalon is the heel, Brandon Cutler is the face, and they disagree on their approach to wrestling. Avalon will risk Leva's life, no problem. That spot where like Butcher's just holding Leva and Avalon just dives into the boat.
I died. Oh,
it's great.
God.
And then like you cut to Cutler and he's like, what? Like,
Cutler's so offended by any heelish tactics.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. For a team that's obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons, these two need to figure out what alignment they're going to be. You know, like otherwise they're never going to get a win.
Yeah, I hope they save their first win for like the day the crowds come back.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
Yeah. Like I understand.
Well, here's a question for you.
Everything, because like, dude, there's like, I mean, like we don't even know when we're going to get back in front of crowds.
Right.
Like,
right. Well, I have a question for you, Frank. Do you think there's more money in having them get a win as a team, or having the one-on-one match to see who can finally get the first win?
Win as a team and then go to the win against each other.
Okay.
But okay, so essentially they disagree over heel tactics, and that's what cost them the win.
Yep.
Cutler hit Blade with a book, and I mean Avalon hit him with the book. But I'm like, Cutler was mad that they cheated against Butcher and the Blade. They cheat all the time.
Right.
Butcher and the Blade are bad guys.
It's so silly. But again, I love this act. What an act.
I love it too. And then they use this to build to the False Count Anywhere match, because they do their finish on the Bucks' friend, Brandon Cutler, on the ground, because, you know, False Count Anywhere. And clearly a fall can count on the ground from this. I thought it was really good. Great main event. Chat, did you catch it? Did you catch the main event of Dark? If so, let us know what you think.
Or let us know what your favorite match from Dark this week was.
Yeah. Yeah. Long show. Hell of a show. But yeah, we should get rolling.
All right.
On to BTE.
Oh,
Here we are.
Another long one.
Yeah, it is another long one. So I did take a huge amount of screenshots for this episode. But the flashback bit with Gallows and Anderson.
Yep.
The quote-unquote flashback where they shot it like the day before this, but said it was 4 years ago. Really funny.
Dude, them laughing like, love this Japanese hotel. I died.
Yeah, the Tokyo Dome Hotel. We love it.
Yes, Tokyo Dome Hotel. Yes.
Just some of the lines in this. You think TNT wants wrestling after what happened last time? We're going to tag with Hunter.
Yeah. I know two guys named Paul, and neither one of them would ever lie to me.
Yeah. So all of this was great. So I didn't realize that Gallows' partner is a nurse, and made sure that they all got COVID tested before just shooting this bit in a hotel.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. Or their house, wherever they actually are.
Right.
Yeah,
I will quickly say though, just about the COVID thing, I again, like, happy with the testing that they've done with AEW. You know, it seems like they're having their staff and the wrestlers around the rings wear masks now. Would love for that. Everyone should be like. It bothers me that they're starting to trickle in like friends of the show, like kind of basically just fans into the upper decks. But it's like those people also need to be tested in the mask, guys. So what are we doing?
Yeah. I, at the very least, mask them and keep them away from each other.
Absolutely.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. Because up until this point, I felt like AEW has been doing a very responsible job. I think they're kind of playing with fire, especially since, you know, they're in Florida.
Right. Yep.
Emperor, I usually just skim through Dark as well.
Oh wait, I'm the only one that watches the whole thing. Jesus.
No, this time I watched I watched the whole thing. Don't worry, it's comprehensive work this week.
I appreciate it.
Other bits on the show. Matt accusing Kenny of being Christian AF, but it turns out Kenny is Scientologist.
Dude. I can't believe it.
The space sound sting.
Amazing.
He said it. Very good. Other bits I was digging. Private Party blowing off Silver and Alex Reynolds.
Yep.
Nyla, I'm not gonna join your stupid. I'm not gonna join your stupid cult. And this, the fuck you, silly straw.
Amazing, dude.
Perfect. I loved it. I love that John Silver's so mad he just can't talk without slamming his hands on tables. Like
he's like has amazing comedic timing. Like this guy's
he's
great.
always been this funny. Like his PWG matches were just this funny. Like also he is so strong when they eventually turn him face and like let him show it off. I've seen him press slam people like twice his size. He's amazing. I'm glad to see this charisma out of him. I like that Alex Reynolds is playing the straight man, but I know he is also incredibly funny.
Right.
He's a really funny guy.
Someone's got to be the straight man, Frank.
Exactly. Like he's the sane one in the Dark Order who's just kind of there. Other stuff. So Chris Daniels did the worst year bit.
Yeah.
Where
gotta get that T-shirt over.
Was he in San Diego? Was that near San Diego Convention Center?
It might have been. It might have been. I don't know
exactly where it was.
Referencing Comic-Con, probably, right?
Yeah, because we're all meant to be there this week, but such is life. What's up, WWE fan? 3484. Worst year bit. Buy the T-shirt. The return of Big Money Matt.
I can't believe that he is attempting to get what is unequivocally the worst character he's ever come up with over.
Big Money Matt is one of the worst gimmicks ever.
Ever. Just terrible.
And he knows it, and Matt Jackson knows it, and that's how they're going to get it over.
Oh, my God. And then even the Spot Monkey thing doesn't quite work for me. Like, it is a lot, but at least it's mostly confined to being the Elite. I don't know if I can handle appearances by Spot Monkey Matt Hardy and Big Money Matt Hardy on the actual Dynamite show.
This is perfect for BTE.
Yeah.
However, when they snap out of the bit to do the Broken Brilliance explanation for whatever wrestling term they were using this time, and you see Nick Jackson clearly by accident as the one who's holding the money. Very funny. It's clearly they just like left it in because it's funny. But when he goes into another definition and then they cut it off where he's defining like blowing up, I thought the comedic timing on that was hilarious.
They're kind of that slow pushing on Matt's face. Very good stuff.
Yeah, Matt Hardy is grinding down the Bucks. However, go full conspiracy theorist for a while.
Oh, okay.
So you've got Jeff Hardy in WWE doing this like drug addict gimmick.
Yep.
Like recovering drug addict gimmick. Is he just gonna fucking leave?
I hope he does.
Like, is he just gonna leave? Because they talk about Jeff all the time on BTE at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be insulting.
We get Hardys and Bucks in like a main event, like of like All Out.
I mean, I'd love to see it, but I think a lot of that could just be they know that it would be insulting to our intelligence as fans. Just pretend like Jeff doesn't exist because Matt's right there. Yeah. So, but you know what? Nothing's ever by accident in AEW, at least typically.
But sometimes things just don't work out. Like
it's true.
Good Brothers showing up in AEW. Yeah, I do like the gimmick switching thing as well. WWE fan. I'm about the gimmick switches with all these characters. I think it's very funny and very weird and very niche. And I'm glad that it's on the YouTube show.
Absolutely.
What else we got here?
Best Friends and
Best Friends won't do a bit. So they're gonna kill Brandon Cutler.
Typical.
I love seeing the orange juice rig being hung above the ring.
Very cool.
Dude, we talked about this last time on the show. We really thought that they'd shot it out of order so you could do the orange juice rig at the end of the show. But no, they did it in sequence, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Hey, what's up, Los? Thanks for popping in.
Nice.
Yeah. I love also the wrestlers on the outside applauding for the ring crew.
Yep. I mean, it's impressive as hell. Like, they only had to re-air the orange juice dropping like 2 or 3 times to cover for them after the like initial commercial break.
Yeah, it's awesome. So the big bit of business here is the Hangman and Kenny tension. Bucks asked Kenny about Marco. Jurassic Express come in and ask him to apologize to him. I think this is your BT segment of the week that kind of needed to be shot for TV. Like, I think it deserved to be on Dynamite because I want to see wrestlers interacting in this way because it's realistic.
Right.
Like Luchasaurus doesn't just kick in the door and just choke slam Kenny. He's like, hey man, what the hell was that? Like, I thought we were meant to be friends. Like, we're having a wrestling match, but we're meant to be friends. It's
tricky though because, like, and not to overthink this, but within the world of BTE, and it's totally not unusual for the cameraman, for Brandon Cutler or Nick Jackson to just be filming, and like sometimes we're supposed to be aware that there's a camera, sometimes we're not. But I think in Dynamite, there's that air of realism. I don't think the wrestlers would carry on this way if they were being filmed.
Yeah. Though,
if that makes sense.
It's like, what if the Bucks are just like cutting a promo about their Falls Count Anywhere match,
and then the Jurassic Express show up,
and they're just like, hey man, what the hell's Kenny's deal? We've been like looking for him everywhere, or something like that.
Totally, I mean,
try and fantasy book him.
Yeah.
The line, Emperor points out the line. I thought we agreed on a spot fest.
Yeah, I get that. That's what this is. What BT is like. We've been watching this now for over 200 episodes.
Oh, I mean, like,
very
remember
silly.
the BT bit where they did the New Japan match where it was Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, and they decided they weren't going to have a match.
Yes. Good shit.
WWE fan. We were in the same boat. We had tickets to Double or Nothing in Vegas. And but hey, it's always next year and the year after.
It's true,
because this is a successful wrestling promotion, and they're going strong even during this like difficult time period. I'm very confident that AEW is going to be around for a while as long as they retain all their guys.
Absolutely.
But why wouldn't they at this point? Like, Griff Garrison telling Colt that Kenny's going to try and kill him,
dude. And him thinking that it's Jungle Boy.
Yeah, Griff Garrison is the new Flip Gordon.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He's their new project, man. He's their new project. Like, he's funny, a funny dude, and they're just trying to like get him over. The who the fuck is Griff Garrison shirt is up on the AEW store now.
Of course it is. It's a hell of a t-shirt company, dude.
Yeah, very good at it. The Spanglish bit didn't do it for me. It's for someone else, and I appreciate it for what it is. But now the 50+ demographic doesn't like Canadian destroyers, Chuck.
Oh my god. This is I mean, obviously my favorite part of the show was actually the Hangman or the Kenny Omega Marco stunt interaction and sort of the teasing of the Kenny Omega heel turn. But my actual favorite segment was 50 for 50. Holy shit.
Yeah. That was so fun. That was so funny. It's so
and apparently
weird.
It worked.
Yeah, it did. It did work.
So hey,
Nick's a fake doctor. They did the dead ass bit.
Yep.
Another private party miss of a segment.
Yeah, man.
I really like those guys, but
this ain't it.
The bits aren't working for me. The Dark Order, my god, they're so good. Getting to see Udo's comedy chops is just like, and Brody Lee is wonderful. Like, John and Alex don't want to wear their masks.
Yep.
And they're mad at Stu Grayson about the masks because he doesn't wear one and they're trying to get him to wear them. Stu Grayson is really good, by the way.
Yeah, I did not realize how much of a French-Canadian accent he had. Holy shit.
Like, that is an intense accent.
Yeah, Quebecois.
Hey, Catch Lady WWE fan, thanks for hanging out. Feel free to hit the follow button.
By.
Yeah. I thought this bit was hilarious. The Dark Order are wonderful.
Yep.
The paper, selling for the paper is...
It's very silly.
It's a good stuff. All right, but now let's dive in. Main show.
Yes.
Dynamite. Let's go. Straight off the bat, Cody's in the ring and Eddie fucking Kingston just walks out.
Dude, my
heart sang.
Ugh.
They make it
It's
for
such a-
us. It's for us, Chuck. They
It's
just
such
make
a
it for us.
bold opening. You know what I mean? Like, it's the balls on that you have to start your show like this. Cody's already in the ring, no fanfare. Kingston just walks out, cuts one of the best promos I've heard all year.
This whole show is just like there is not a bad promo on this show. There's not one bad promo on this show, and all of them are very good. But you've just got Eddie. You said Eddie Kingston, who no one knows who he is.
Right.
Like sure, like hardcore wrestling fans, of which there is a huge portion watching AEW.
Yeah.
I have very casual fan friends who have just started so a couple of my friends in New Zealand, Anna and Rob, came over to watch pay-per-views with us. Yeah, so they're in New Zealand. They're watching AEW on Fight, and they watch it instead of WWE now. And they don't know who Eddie Kingston is, but you know what? They're gonna roll with it because they get entertained by stuff like this.
Totally.
Like, I should check in with them because we were texting last night as they were catching up on stuff, and they loved the Cassidy Jericho match.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like Eddie Kingston, man, baiting Cody into a no DQ match. Arn is pissed again.
Yep.
Arn is always mad at Cody now.
A lot of tension.
Because Cody just does whatever he wants. JR, fantastic on commentary. Putting over Kingston's toughness and his punches, Cody's recklessness, the relationship with Arn. Like, JR weaves a wonderful quilt in this match. Eddie Kingston's this desperate guy who sold his boots to keep his house.
Great note.
Yeah. And then tax, baby.
Holy shit.
And
I
then,
popped.
Oh, and then Cody, like, every review, I'm a big ProWrestling.net guy. I think Barnett, Powell, great wrestling reviewers. Everyone's just like, Kingston's going in the tax.
Right.
But we forget that Cody is in full John Cena mode at this point.
Yep.
And he's like, I will go in the tax. As many tacks as possible, please.
Cody doesn't give a shit. He is so, like, he will not say no to anything.
I think he suggested it.
Yeah, probably.
The Cody rally after the tax was so realistic as well. He's mad. The slap exchange.
Dude.
Like, Kingston selling to the leg throughout the match. This is fantastic. And to start the show with a match this good and this kind of good, because this isn't like you're starting off with, like, hey guys, send out the cruiserweights. They're going to do an 840.
Right. So this wasn't just like a series of moves to get you excited. This had serious emotional stakes. Like, I think this is Cody's best match since his match with Dustin, first of all.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, Cody thrives in these, like, environments. So, but, man, them, like, acknowledging the Santana and Ortiz connection was very interesting to me. Because so what's interesting about that is it's like, so Kingston was managing the OGs. He was managing Homicide and Hernandez.
Well, for the longest time, he and Homicide were, I think even in NWA this last year, Homicide and him were a tag team.
Yeah. But, you know, he was at the school with Santana and Ortiz, which is cool. Man, Arn is cranky on the outside, looking just like cantankerous as Cody poses with the belt at the end. Kingston selling the knee on the ramp after the match. They if they don't just sign Eddie Kingston, like, on the spot after this, what are we doing?
Dude, like, he if he gets signed, he immediately becomes a top 5 promo in that company.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he's able to establish instant pathos like that with one promo and also, immediately get you invested in it. Right.
He's a badass. He's angry. He's mean. And you feel for him. And
that's what I found so interesting is that he was still wrestling the match as a heel, even though he was the one that had all the sympathy. And I like that they don't force themselves to get put into these boxes. Like even Cody said it on Twitter. He's just like, look, like you can call me a babyface or a heel, whatever. Like I'm a person.
Yeah.
Like like my alignment is irrelevant. It's whether or not you're gonna vibe me from match to match. You know what I mean?
That's like, so WWE, when they do Shades of Grey, it's like, oh, he's a face one week and he's a heel one week. He's a face in this segment, he's a heel in this segment. And you kind of don't know where they're going with it. Whereas there's a consistency to Cody where it's just like he is getting meaner and more desperate and more reckless as he goes into his TNT title reign. And it will eventually cost him the belt. I'm just wondering when. And what happens when he loses that belt? How's Arn going to feel? How's Cody going to feel? Where do they go with that? But man, Eddie Kingston, man. And
I legitimately thought he hurt his knee. Like he was so good at selling, and it was so consistent and throughout the match. I was like, oh man, he really actually, like, what this poor bastard, he gets his first like major national TV spot. And like obviously he's been on Impact and Ring of Honor, but like this is a different deal. It's TNT, you know, like 800,000, 900,000 viewers. And I'm like, oh shit, he must have like blown his MCL or his ACL. Something terrible's happened. It's like, no, he's just that good.
Yeah, there's a good Colt Cabana Eddie Kingston match out there as well, where you kind of get to see like what Colt can do, kind of like how he's doing like now in AEW, where you're seeing like a little bit more serious in the ring and stuff.
Were those his Matt Classic days?
No, it wasn't when he was Matt Classic, which I hope he does that gimmick again. I hope in the Dark Order he becomes Matt Classic when he puts on.
That'd be amazing.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just stuck on this match, man. I
could talk about this match all night, and I think what's important about a match like this, and so people are saying this is one of the best Dynamites ever, top to bottom. I would agree.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because this match set the tone for the night, and specifically Eddie Kingston's promo before the match then set the tone for the match itself. So it's like this entire show's momentum comes off of Eddie Kingston. And that's an incredible thing for a guy who basically was signed off the street, you know, and has no exposure to a national TV audience.
Yeah. 18 years of pro, man.
Amazing.
And he's finally getting his due. Finally.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna stop myself from talking about it all night because here's the powerbomb spot.
Oh,
like Cody gets in there, and look at Paul Turner just
dude.
Yeah. Fucking awesome. Match rules. Okay. And so we'll just go from an Eddie Kingston promo to a Jon Moxley promo. I bet Mox is mad because Mox got a great promo.
Right, and he's still upstaged, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, he's upstage. He's in an upstaging sandwich here, my friend.
Amazing.
Yeah, what'd you think of the Mox promo? Other than it's just, you know, effortlessly good like all of his other promos.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. Like it's almost like I don't know what there is to say because it is just like you expect excellence from him. You get it. It feels so real. He's living this character. This is Jon Moxley. Like this isn't.
I love how it's shot too. This is like the best like AEW like presentation where it's like, hey, this guy's requested some time. Kind of deal, as opposed to I love they mix it up. They do like stuff like this, and then they also do the Marvez type interviews.
Totally.
Like good shit.
I also like his new look. He's got a new haircut. You know, it's tighter.
Yeah.
And I like his like vest, like kind of denim shirt thing he's got going on. Like he's mixing it up.
Yeah, he's mixing it up. Like it's tricky. Like Mox has been doing this like Monster of the Week shit. For a while, and it seems like we're still in the Brian Cage feud. Like he hasn't moved on yet. So do you think we're gonna see a rematch in the immediate future, or do you think we're gonna move him on to something else?
I think we're gonna get a tag match first of all.
But do you think
him and Darby? Obviously, we'll get to that a little bit later. I do think that we're on a collision course with MJF at All Out. I think it's inevitable, just because the way that MJF's been protected, and he has a natural story to tell. Basically, like I'm being looked over. Why don't I get my shot? I don't know if that match is going to be any good, but I'm definitely, I kind of want to see it. Like, I'm morbidly curious about it.
Yeah, I really want to see Mox put in the position where he can have, like, a banger. Because even with the Kenny matches, it was kind of settled with the deathmatch stuff, which is awesome. I had a great time. Ridiculous, crawling through glass and stuff. It's madness.
Yeah.
But, like, he's been settled with these Monsters of the Week. And Brian Cage, of course, is the best of all of them. Although Brody Lee's great, too. But, like, I really liked the Brian Cage match. But he's being settled with Monsters of the Week, and you can only do so much with that. When do we get, like him and Pac. Like,
yeah, I mean,
where
Pac
we
could be
see
coming
how
back
good
anytime now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just want to see how good of a wrestler Jon Moxley is. Like, I know he's a great brawler,
Yeah.
but it's like I want to see him in there, a guy like of similar size. Like, it doesn't just have to be him like fighting Godzilla every week. Though I understand they're booking that kind of like full territory, like
Right.
monster of the week thing, like building up their big babyface champion. I feel like he's gonna be a champion for a long time too.
Agreed. Yeah, I do wonder who's next though, because we have a lot of time to fill before September, so that there's got to be at least one other major defense that he does before All Out.
The big discussion on Reddit is it's just like it should be Pentagon.
Interesting. What's the argument there?
I think it's because you can do a different kind of monster, but a guy who can have a more fast-paced match with him, and also him and Phoenix, like right now aren't doing a whole lot in the tag division.
Right.
Like, so it's like, why not split them up for a while? Then you've got two great quality guys, so you can have like a Moxley Phoenix match, you can have a Moxley Pentagon match, and then the Moxley Pentagon match can kind of go to more death matchy, and then the Phoenix one will like look really good.
Interesting.
And then you can eventually work Pac in there.
Yeah.
Death Triangle. Like,
okay.
It's, I thought it was a valid. You kind of have to build up Penta a little bit more.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's had a singles match since like Kenny Omega last year, right?
Yeah, he's a Sarah Mioto man now.
Right.
You know,
that character does need some rehab if that's what they want to do. Like, not like it's like he's ruined or anything, but it's not serious.
Yeah, like I think like a month. Give him a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I love this like drunk Moxley promo energy.
It's great.
Like, it sounds like
you can't see it, but there's a couple Miller Lights like right off camera.
All right, so we have the MJF promo match.
Yep.
Now,
it certainly was a promo match. Good call.
Griff Garrison, aka Jungle Man. I love that MJF takes out his anger that he has for Jungle Boy on Griff Garrison. I love that thread where it's just like MJF and Jungle Boy is like the main event of AEW in like maybe a year from now or two.
Oh yeah.
Like, it could main event your big shows, and I love that they're just keeping on kind of pressing on it in the background there. I think it's really smart. Mean Streak MJF is what we needed.
Yes.
A little bit more of this.
I think he's gonna get away from like the childish like name calling, I think, a little bit. I know it's part of the package, but I think if he shifted a little bit and took himself and his opponents a little more seriously, he could still put them down. But I just like there was one real stinker of a line that he tried to throw at Griff Garrison here, talking about the Ivy League MVP, and it's like, you're better than that stuff, MJF. Like that's you've moved past this.
Yeah. I love that he forced him to say that he was great.
Very cool.
I thought it was a really good bit. Everyone did a great job. Aubrey was disgusted the whole time.
Yep.
So, speaking of great promos, Britt Baker is one of the most entertaining heels in professional wrestling.
Yep. Well, it feels real. It feels natural.
Yeah. The fact that no one knows if it's Reba or Rebel,
amazing,
is great. Tony Schiavone being there because these are real people and characters, and they know each other, and they have this weird relationship.
Well, I think the insinuation here is like, maybe I'm reading a little bit between the lines, but I think the idea of this friendship is that she's not like this all the time. It's just when she's on camera, when she's like in that, like she becomes a different person almost.
Yeah. Also, it seems like Tony doesn't entirely like her. They just kind of hang out.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's very funny, very weird. When Britt says "suck it in" and Tony closes his jacket,
amazing.
I died laughing,
dude.
And I love.
And
that,
then now
like,
we've got her
Reba
comparing
Rebel,
herself to Michael Jordan. Amazing.
Yeah, so good. And I love that Reba Rebel is going to be like a great babyface down the track when she's finally had enough of Britt's shit.
It's gonna be a great match.
Yeah, I'm just delightful. Again, how many promo segments have we had so far in the show? We've had MJF, we've had Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, and Britt Baker. This is sports entertainment, Chuck.
It sure is. I'm sports entertained.
Exactly. It's great. Gushing about this show. Shut the music. Taz is out here.
Shut the music.
And then he just doubles down on it.
Oh my god.
And here we have our fourth promo segment.
Yep.
In the first half hour of the show. First half hour of Dynamite. We're on our fourth promo. And what did you think of Taz's promo, Chuck?
I thought it was great. Like, he perfectly explains the nature of their relationship and why he did what he did. He didn't give us one of those bullshit, like, I don't owe you any explanation promos. He explained the logic of his actions, and guess what? They make sense.
And now he's got contingency plan in Ricky Starks now.
Sure does.
But, like, look at Brian. Like, here's how I feel like Brian Cage has grown as a performer. Look at that. Like, I've chose this screenshot. Like, some of the times I just, like, take a screenshot of, like, the easiest thing for me to get because it takes a long ass time to take all these screenshots for the show.
Yeah.
I specifically went for this one where Brian Cage is looking at the towel.
Yep.
Like, that's
he's doing a lot of heavy lifting in this promo.
He's
Cage's
growing.
facial expressions.
He's growing as a performer, like, before our eyes, and it's awesome. Like, I've always liked Brian Cage, and I'm glad that he's getting this now. Now, the next thing is you tell us what the FTW belt is, Taz.
Right. Yeah.
That's our next step. That's our next step. But you don't have to spell everything out, but maybe just like
the kids hop on the Google. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. So yeah, Ricky Starks is out there. Darby got powerbombed on the ramp.
So, look, I love Ricky Starks to death. I'm pretty sure I read that he hit Darby into those ropes so hard Darby had a concussion.
That's a rumor.
Let's be a little more careful. It
might just be Darby
vicious.
Yeah.
It was brutal to watch.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this match. I'll say that much.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, not just the tag match that they ultimately set up. So Moxley comes out, makes the save to help his little brother.
I love that these two finally have each other.
Oh, yeah. And for the eventual trios tournament in a year, maybe we can get Shooter in here,
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time. And
boy.
Then Darby and Shooter have to argue over who's dad's favorite.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be the best. No, I'm really excited, not just about this tag match, Mox and Darby Allin versus Starks and Cage, that we're going to get eventually.
Ricky Starks is getting pinned.
Oh, well, of course. But I want to see I want to see Starks and Darby. I want to see Starks and Moxley. Like, there's a lot of cool matches that we can get out of this.
Yeah. All right. Like, this is great. Great.
Much like Sammy Guevara, Starks should be prepared to lose a lot now.
Yes.
Just
he lose he shall.
Absolutely.
So we've got the Women's Tag Team Cup tournament, the Deadly Draw.
So I said this on Twitter, but whoever is naming all of these like cards and stuff has a gambling problem. 100%.
They love the casino iconography.
Yeah, leaning into it.
It's what Tony Khan was doing with his dad's money to open this promotion. Hey-o! I'm glad. Hey, he rolled the dice. He rolled good. He rolled real good.
Love it. Nat 20.
I love that it's a tag team cup tournament. So now we get relationships, feuds, and a renewed women's roster because just due to virtue of like being unable to travel, we've lost a number of performers. And then 2 unfortunate injuries in Britt Baker and Chris Statlander at just the absolute worst time.
Yeah. So it's my understanding that this tournament is serving a couple of purposes. So one, it's going to continue the sort of storyline between the Nightmare Sisters. Obviously, I hope the entire tournament isn't about them. I'd like for them to get bounced fairly early because of the static between the two of them. Although I do kind of worry that they're going to go all the way to the end. Yeah, I only say worry as in like they're not the strongest workers.
Yeah, I think they'll go all the way to the end. But I like the idea that Brandy has been trying to champion this tag team as a way to get more focus on women's wrestling in the company. I think that's a really smart angle. Where it's just like, this gets more women on TV. This gets more attention to women's wrestling. I think it's very clever.
I was going to say that the other thing that this match or that this tournament accomplishes is that they can then bring in people from the outside. So they get to try out a number of women to see who they want to add to their roster. They get to establish characters on television. And potentially, if the ratings are strong enough, it will mean we either get another one of these next year or ultimately we get women's tag team champions. If this becomes a huge ratings draw, I do think we see women's tag belts.
I think so too. The women's tag belts just worry me, because
lack of depth.
Yeah, and also it's just like I think they're very disciplined in the way that they book this promotion. WWE has been terrible about their women's tag teams. Even when you have like huge guaranteed stars like Sasha Banks and Bayley, and like Nikki Cross with like Alexa Bliss and stuff, they still struggle. It seems like they can only keep track of 2-3 teams at a time. But that's a lot of competitors and it's a lot of TV time, so it's tricky. I would ideally just like to see more women's segments in the show before you have a belt that forces that. Like, challenge themselves to tell new stories with your women's wrestlers first.
They really, really, really need this second. I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm like the guy that's like I think the main problem that WWE faces is that there's too much TV time to fill up. They've got 7 hours of first run television they've got to put out. But I do think, especially right now while the quality is this high, I think that AEW could use that extra hour. And not another 2-hour show, maybe another hour show where they can put some of these
1 hour,
segments.
Please. One.
Yeah.
Only one.
Only one, and not added to Dynamite as a separate thing.
Yeah. Yeah, please. So yeah, I'm excited. And yeah, we'll talk about a potential team later in the show.
All right.
Jericho and Inner Circle promo with Marvez.
Very silly. Jericho has not changed his jacket. Yep.
It is very, very, very funny.
Are you surprised that we're continuing the Orange Cassidy feud this explicitly like this? This is the first time where I feel like a feud in AEW reached a climax with a match and then has continued on. Usually the wrestlers kind of they part ways or they transition into a new story. What do you make of this?
I think this is going into a new feud for the Best Friends with Santana and Ortiz, so they get a little bit more focus. I think that's the direction. I think Jericho's going to be real mean to Orange Cassidy, and we're going to end up with like a transfer there. I think they're going to have another match. I don't know quite what that means.
Yeah,
Chris Jericho loves a project, man. And
it's true.
He wants Orange Cassidy more over at the end of this angle than at the start. Again, I agree with you, like we were talking about last week. Orange Cassidy is hurt by a lack of a crowd.
Yes.
But I still think he's doing great. I disagree with the Dave Meltzers of the world who are just like, the Orange Cassidy gimmick doesn't work for your main event. Well, guess what? It wasn't the main event. You ding-dongs.
Yep.
It's just a Chris Jericho match. He doesn't have the belt anymore.
But also, like, tell that to, like, Beyond Wrestling, who basically, like, grew its audience using Orange Cassidy to the point that he became a national figure. So
Wrestle Circus. Orange Cassidy was always the most over person, like, when I brought, like, people to see him, like, in, like, PWG and stuff. Like, they were always just like, I love that guy. Gorilla Monsoon, Ken Shamrock, and Steve Blackman.
To AEW?
Also, Gorilla Monsoon 420 is the best gimmick name I've ever seen. So.
That's pretty good. That's not bad.
Welcome. Glad to have you here. But yeah, this is a promo that they did. Ivelisse.
Sure was, Frank.
Ivelisse, Diamante. Similar gimmicks.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, this is one of your tag teams, right? For the tournament.
Oh, that's interesting. Like, maybe there's like a respect thing that forms out of this. Although I'm not sure. Like, I gotta say, and I'm kind of disappointed. I'm not surprised because I know she has a reputation, but did not seem like Ivelisse was giving this her all.
I kind of like that they were kind of slugging it out. I felt like there was some hard hitting, but yeah, I don't think this was Ivelisse's best match. I think Ivelisse's work in Lucha Underground was really good. And yes, I do
get the
understand
impression
that
she showed up.
Order here.
Well, I get the impression that she showed up and they were like, and Diamante's going over, and she just was like, oh, okay, I don't care now.
I don't know. Like, I think Ivelisse is maybe a more limited performer. But yeah, it is a tricky position to be in, just throwing two unknown people, like, essentially out there on the show.
I mean, it definitely makes the universe feel bigger, right? Like, this, like, and I think it was Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer had a really good point. that this match really gave him, and he meant this as a positive, it gave him like 1996 WCW vibes. There is this feeling with Dynamite that like literally anything can happen, is what he was saying. And this is a good example of that. It's two people we've never seen before. They go out and have a solid match.
Yeah, and that match was solid. JR, I think, put over Evilise. But yeah, similar characters, but it felt like, and this is the tricky thing, Diamante's like character work was stronger in this match. So I think
absolutely, I mean, Diamante has something, and I'm excited to see what they do with her.
There's some real fire there, and a mean streak, and just a great wrestler. So yeah, I'm curious as to like when the Inner Circle eventually falls down, if we see like the Eddie Kingstons and like the Diamantes like kind of find their way back to these guys.
Yeah, well, I definitely think, you know, it's funny, like with Eddie Kingston, I mean, I hope they sign him and he has a run as a wrestler. And I know we've already got too many managers, but he's got a future as a manager.
Oh, 100%. And also you got like a bruiser type manager too.
Absolutely.
It's just like a guy who can just throw a big clothesline.
Yeah.
Yeah. To get back into order, time traveling, Young Bucks versus Butcher and the Blade, Falls Count Anywhere. The Butcher and the Blade are just in the kitchen, man, just doing their work.
I died when they took the time to wash their hands. I was laughing my ass off.
Loved it. But that was about as nice as they were for the entire match. Like, it kind of starts a little silly.
Yep.
Man, there's so much stuff in this match. Dropping like the pan ass drop. Like what?
Yeah.
Like,
Jesus.
The joke about a drink in a mason jar for $20 at the bar.
Pretty good.
Where I was just like, what are they in Los Angeles?
Yeah. Did you see the mud show sign in the back of the production truck?
Really funny.
Very good.
The super kick up the escalator.
Okay. The fact that was the last shot before going to commercial break, I was cackling. Holy shit. And it worked. Again, we don't talk about the ratings all the time on this show because we actually don't care. I just want to watch a good wrestling show. And I'm just glad to see them succeed because, you know, they come back from that commercial break and they're hitting like 1 million viewers. Yeah. Like, because this match is awesome. It's really weird and funny. And I thought it was just going to be like a big backstage brawl, like clearly something they pre-shot. And then they brawl out to the ring. Yeah, I actually really like that a lot. I do feel bad for the poor Blade eating shit on that tope, missing the table completely. Oh my god.
Blade also just throwing those chairs with gusto.
Oh my god. Yeah, these guys are they're ready to throw down. Like Butcher and Blade, like again, not just to keep saying this, but like they live their gimmick. They are mean men. Yeah. The Butcher's low cross body always looks amazing. Mm-hmm. The Jackson Sabu chairing the Butcher was like crazy. By that point, I was just like, this match is crazy. It's a shame that it's on the same show as Cody against Eddie Kingston. Otherwise, it would be the best match on the show, but it's not. Yeah, I mean, I love this, and clearly, like, this was like a big thing for like people just switching channels. Yeah, like, hey, like AEW is like doing something pretty cool right now. I did love. I kind of overstated how much I love that they actually brawled to the ring and they didn't just do it all backstage. Like, totally. Like, I thought that really made the match. Do you have any other parts that stuck out other than the finish, which we'll talk about? I liked them throwing the meat at the Butcher and the Blade. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I will say, you know what's funny? This is not again. You know, I'm a classic body guy here, Frank. I do think that the Young Bucks are skipping some gym days during quarantine. I mean, all because we literally can't go to a gym. Well, no, it's true. It's true. I'm like, I was like, man, that Nick Jackson, he really took a break when he had that, when his kid was born. He was like, I'm not doing anything. I don't blame him. Yeah. But also, it's just like, get healthy. Like, these guys have a lot of miles in their body, and that's true. Like the way that they're reasserting themselves on Dynamite, because that's what they're doing now. Is like because we kind of forget the Bucks were gone for like a sustained period of time, like a very long period of time. And even then, the focus has never been fully on them on Dynamite. They're really asserting themselves as like main event stars, and I think they're working out the way to get themselves over like properly is by doing these like wild ass like Hardy Boys style matches. Right. Case in point, the finish. Dude, I couldn't believe it. Wild stuff.
Nick Jackson
I
is
can't
out of
believe
his
these guys
mind.
are they injured? Are they uninjured? I'm like, I hope they're okay.
I have no idea. Yeah, that was great.
What do you make of, like, so just talk about how, like, they're sort of trying to reassert themselves, the Young Bucks. Looking at the tag team title picture right now, so obviously Kenny and Hangman are the champions. Seems like we're heading towards a confrontation between them and FTR. I can only assume FTR are going to take the titles. That's the story we're trying to tell. And then when they're the champions,
like that's how I feel like it pans out, where it's just like FTR take the belts off of Hangman and Kenny. Hangman and Kenny have their match.
Yeah.
And then we finally get to FTR and the Bucks.
But that's what I was going to say, is that it does feel like FTR, when they get the titles, are going to, because this is, you know, the booking style of its promotion is they don't do a lot of, like, quick changes, it seems like.
Yeah.
So FTR are going to have a decent run here with the belts. We're a long ways away from a Young Bucks title run. And it's still odd to me.
And how evil do they have to get it? Because I feel like it's going to send them, like, those characters, I think they'll get sent crazy by not having the belts.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it. I miss, like, I've been watching a lot of old PWG. I tweet about it on our Twitter at TIAPod. And I miss...
Good plug.
I miss jackass asshole Young Bucks. I really do.
I feel like they need to do some, like, highlight packages on these guys and some promos that kind of showcase their actual characters. We get a lot of it on, like, BTE.
Yeah.
But I still think we're missing some of that groundwork for both them and Kenny. But I feel like for them, they're just like, well, we can do that later. But what heights could they get to if they started doing it now?
Yeah, I agree.
If I was a Tony Khan, I would just be like, look, you guys are here for a reason. And just, like, shoot them to the top. Like, they should be main eventing pay-per-views. Like, they're some of the best performers in the entire world. They have them here. They're doing stuff like this on Dynamite, which is working and super popular. But it feels like they're kind of like a break glass in case of, like, emergency, and the Young Bucks and Kenny are just, like, under there.
Yeah.
Sushi Joey points out Bullet Club reunites in 2022. Where, though?
Interesting. Yeah, that'd be some long-term booking. I'd love to see it. We've got we have Gallows and Anderson went to Impact officially. They've debuted. Yeah. Marty's still in Ring of Honor. There's the boys are all in different promotions. You wonder eventually if they'll all come together. You know who I'd love to see? I know he just signed another deal, but boy, I wish Adam Cole had gone to AEW. I think the rumor is that he signed a 5-year deal, I think, an extension. Yeah.
And everyone's super high on him. And why wouldn't you? Like, again, like, the Undisputed Era is a great gimmick, too.
It is.
It's just so weird we don't see, like, really funny Adam Cole promos, like, all the time. Like, Adam Cole doesn't talk that much on NXT.
He really doesn't. It's weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like, he's one of the best promos in the company. I shows my green screen. It's a little... There we go.
Sushi Joey's saying reunited by AJ Styles. Interesting. So maybe he's thinking they all go to WWE. Who knows? I don't know if the Bucks will go, because
I don't feel like AJ's going anywhere.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna. I mean, I would love to see that a lot. I think that'd be great.
I want to see Devitt, like, wrestle without the chains on, essentially.
Yeah, totally. I think you're right. I think AJ, he wants that Legends deal. That's what he's working towards. You know, get that Hall of Fame status, get that Legends deal, and that you're basically, as a wrestler, that's your retirement. You know, so I totally understand why he's gonna stay at WWE probably for the rest of his career.
Yeah. Adam Cole, though, I could see him jumping.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this match rolled. It was great. Lance Archer throws a man into the ceiling. The segment.
Fuck, dude, Frank, best part of the show.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, it's up there.
I loved it.
This is amazing.
I loved it. He just kills the locker room. Who is this dude? Who's this poor man that he destroyed?
Doesn't matter. He's dead now.
Yeah.
He died.
He threw him in the ceiling, put him in the trash. I couldn't even work out what Archer said, and I rewound it like 3 times.
No idea. Not a goddamn idea. Dude, the juxtaposition of Lance Archer destroying this poor man while Jake the Snake cuts a quiet Jake promo. I watched this like 3 times. It was amazing.
It was great. I think Marvez should have been even more scared at the end.
Agreed. Yeah, he's getting there. He's getting better.
Yeah. Oh, I like Marvez's backstage interview. I think he's very good.
Yeah.
But this great segment. What better way to rebuild your monster, right? After he loses
Absolutely.
the TNT tournament. Where do you go with Lance Archer? I say tag team long term.
Agreed.
But I think they definitely realize that there's a little bit more they can squeeze out of this guy as a monster.
I guess.
This is a full Kane thing, Joey. I think you're completely right.
Oh,
Like,
good call. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like unleashed Kane, except now he's fast. Like
Right.
Lance Archer's
Right.
fast. Like that's I love that we have multiple Kanes in AEW as well. Because you've got Luchasaurus, who's like flippy Kane, and you've got Lance Archer, who's fast Kane. Like,
you think Lance Archer could be the next opponent for Moxley?
I mean, he just came off that like TNT title loss, so I feel like AEW would kind of do some work. But who does he win against? Who's grist for the Archer mill?
Right. I mean, that's the thing, is you got to feed him somebody.
Like,
I'm not sure
what
who.
are you gonna do? Like kill Jungle Boy? Like,
poor Dave Meltzer will start crying.
yeah, it's true.
He hates it when Jungle Boy loses, dude. He loses his mind.
I know. I mean, like, I love Jungle Boy too.
Yeah.
But Hangman versus 5.
I love this.
Okay.
Loved this.
Yeah, this was great. What was his tweet? I'm pulling it up on the old WrestlePlex.
Well, first of all, his double mask gimmick is hilarious. Loved that.
Yeah, the double mask gimmick is great. Here's the tweet. Tonight I'm wrestling a man whose name is just the number 5 on TNT at 8 p.m.
Amazing.
I love Hangman.
He's my favorite angsty millennial cowboy.
Yeah, he's doing great. I like that the finish was just a big power bomb. Just a JBL power bomb.
Don't have to use the big lariat every time. Don't have it.
Yeah.
Don't have to use it. Yeah.
So end of the match, Mr. Brody comes in, tries to recruit Paige again. Uno and Grayson already made an attempt for Paige long ago.
Yep.
So
which he, by the way, was interested in, and they never got back to him via email. That's canon.
Yes, that is canon. Mr. Brody's suit rules. The Mr. Brody gimmick works now. This works now.
Yep.
They really turned it around after those first few weird Vince McMahon promos. Vince McMahon meets Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. Dude, my favorite.
Yes, 5 does have the Seattle Kraken's tattoo.
That's hilarious. Oh my god!
Did you see the tweet where someone just put googly eyes on it?
No, I missed that. That's
good. It's really good.
My favorite little detail from this match is just before the beatdown, Mr. Brody takes Colt and they leave together because he doesn't want Colt Cabana to see this side of the Dark Order.
He isn't
or
ready
be a part of it.
He's the. Yet.
But also he's like I think it was Sir Samuel said last week
Tom
or the
Cruise?
week before. Yeah, he's the Tom Cruise. He's the happy face of the Dark Order.
It's hey guys, we just hang out, play cards and stuff. Sure, they wear masks. It's kind of weird, and we drink a lot of Kool-Aid, but
totally fine.
Yeah. I like and again, this is the great thing about AEW. Nothing's in a vacuum. They're alluding to the fact that the Bucks and Kenny aren't out there with him.
Yeah, very interesting.
And Paige is fairly respectful, except he isn't ready to join a cult. And Colt's like, wait, this is a cult?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I died.
So FTR makes the save for Paige. Kenny's the last one to the ring. JR puts all of it over.
Yep.
But there's one thing here that I'm curious about, which is Tony Khan received multiple references on the show this week.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about Tony a lot more. What do you make of it?
I hope he does not become an on-screen figure. I think it's just this idea that and it shows you that the sort of there's a connectivity between or there's a synergy across all the verticals of the company. So I don't mind them name dropping Tony Khan because of how involved he is on social media. He announces the matches. He talks about the ratings. He replies to people who have questions, who question the logic of the booking. He gives you a kayfabe explanation. I think it's okay, as long as it's not on TV, for him to be the acknowledged booker. It's kind of like with UFC. People on UFC, they want to fight. They go, hey, Dana White, make this happen. Because people know that Dana White is in charge. There's no reason not to name drop Tony Khan.
Look, here's what I'm just putting out there. Chuck, there's a lot of great old school wrestling minds here.
Yeah.
In AEW. You've got Jake the Snake Roberts. You've got Arn
Anderson.
You've got Tully Blanchard.
It's true.
You've got Dustin Rhodes.
Mm-hmm.
The booking committee.
Oh no.
The matchmakers.
The powers that be, bro.
And then it's like, and then you've also got like but like Archer's managed by Jake, and Arn manages like Cody and stuff like that. And so you've got like this kind of favoritism maybe on like the booking committee and stuff like that. So you can kind of kayfabe all that stuff that you wanted, like, because you don't want to do all the stupid shoot angles where it's like Mr. Booker, man, all that crap. Like I hate I hate that stuff, and I always hated
agree.
it.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Even as like a bona fide internet wrestling fan, I always hated it. So I'm just like, just say there's a whole bunch of guys and coaches and stuff who put the matches together, and Tony is like the head of the committee. And you can even show them a couple times just to solidify the fact that they're real. And you can send out a rep every now and then if you have to. Like, but yeah, I'm definitely, I'm always like apprehensive about him being referenced a lot. Like when Moxley like went into his office that one time, like months ago.
Yeah, that was a little weird. Although at the same time, I do like the fact that there's a unilateral booker, again, much like UFC, because you can do things like when there's, what happens at the end of the night, there's a big kerfuffle, and then they can immediately say it before they go off the air. We've just heard that because of X, Tony Khan has decided Y is happening.
Yeah.
And they can do that immediately. There's no lag time to have a kayfabe discussion,
Oh, dude, I figure they're just all just watching. They're just like, make the match.
Sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I don't mind this booking committee idea. I think it's interesting, but I still think I'm loath
You're like,
to get behind.
You remember the WWE booking committee, and you're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want any on-screen authority figures. I don't want to see them ever.
Yeah. This was this match. Afterwards, FTR come out, make the save. Kenny's too late.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty transparent to me. FTR are trying to drive a wedge between the tag team champions so they can take their belts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that's going to really hurt Adam Page's feelings because, he's a sensitive guy.
Well, also, it's going to drive Kenny insane when he loses and he starts blaming Adam Page for that.
And Page will blame him because Page feels like he's been carrying the team.
Right. And he would be correct.
Yeah. It's tricky. Also, damn, they got their figures in Walmart. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, pretty neat. Pretty neat.
All right, main event time. This show breezed by for me.
Yep.
Like, our show about it, it's about as long as this actual show.
That's true.
So, just breaking down the match like a little bit. Thought it was interesting. Matt Hardy was kind of just watching from the rafters. Kind of keep an eye on the inner circle.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what that's about.
I mean, they had like Matt Hardy as part of like the Elite versus Inner Circle match.
Sure. Yeah.
And so he's kind of like loosely affiliated with the Elite and stuff. So they might go back to like a Chris Jericho Matt Hardy fight again, which I'm not particularly interested in.
Oh, you know what? Maybe they're trying to get back to the match that was supposed to happen, Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, I think that works because Matt's trying to fix Sammy, but he won't be able to. When Luchasaurus and Jake Hager are in the ring together, it's the most compelling Jake Hager has been outside of the time he was drinking with Hangman Page in a bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, those two actually have chemistry. I don't like Jake Hager.
He's got new gear, though. He doesn't look like he's in his underwear.
Yeah, I guess he found his bags or whatever.
Yeah.
But Hager is being consistently putting in like pretty poor performances. In a tag match like this, I think he's great. Like,
agreed. This is his role.
Yeah. He should only be in tag matches. Maybe put him in a tag team.
Yeah.
Or just an enforcer on the outside. His singles matches should be few and far between. The fact they did him and Dustin still is like
baffling.
Yeah, that's not for anyone.
No.
Like, and I love Dustin Rhodes. So that's it's just for no one. Here is what I want.
Okay.
Out of this. Well, actually, overall, what do you think of the match?
I thought it was fine. I think that, it's funny. Everybody says like Meltzer says, Orange Cassidy, he doesn't quite work without the fans. I think the wrestler who's suffering the most without the fans is Luchasaurus, who suddenly doesn't feel like he has the same kind of momentum behind him as he did when we had fans.
Yeah. I think Jungle Boy as well. I think
yeah,
the fans really helped Jungle Boy too.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I thought this match was good. I was.
People thought it was long. I thought it was like it's a main event. Like I feel like it had to have a little more gravity. Otherwise, it was just going to be the end of a show.
Well, I thought they structured it strangely because it felt very fast in the beginning, and then when they came back from the commercial break, that's when it slowed down.
Slow.
And usually you flip it, so that was a little odd.
I wonder if it was meant to start fast, have a lull, and then get fast again. But the lull was a little longer.
Possibly, yeah.
So Serpentico runs in, but really it's Sammy Guevara. OC and the Best Friends are out there. Big 10-man tag for next week. They changed OC's theme song again and added some vocals that I don't like. I think it was better last time without the vocals. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's different. Oh, there's my cat. It's different. Yeah, he's wondering why I'm in the closet. Yeah. Again.
Wonder.
These themes are they're week to week. They're gonna change. I think is what we've discovered. It's very Jim Johnston-esque. So I'm gonna wait a month or so before I pass judgment on it.
Yeah, I thought like earlier, like I know you had some reservations about it. I thought it was fine with the lyrics. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
But the big thing I took away from this, other than it's gonna be a big 10-man tag next week, which I'm sure
Very
is gonna
exciting.
be really fun.
Yeah.
I want Jungle Boy to beat Jake Hager soon.
Okay, yeah, I'd like that.
Because he's a big idiot who has like some gravity to him, and I think Jungle Boy gets a lot out of beating him.
Yeah. Well, I think the first match is going to be Luchasaurus and Jake Hager. Logically.
I mean, well, they've done that. They've done Luchasaurus and Jake Hager, and they stuffed it in the middle of a show. For some reason.
That's fair.
Like, I mean, they could go back and do it again, but I don't know. I'm not a big Jake Hager guy. So
yeah,
I feel like they kind of like wasted it. They could have actually built that up. They just kind of burned the match because maybe they thought it just wasn't going to be very good. I thought it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. What did you Sammy Guevara comes back, dressed as Serpentico. What do you think?
He's back. Sammy Guevara's back. Glad to see him. I'm sure he'll do well. Looking forward to seeing him have some matches. I thought the hug with Jericho was hilarious. I tried to get a screenshot of it. Didn't work for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can bring it up. Nah.
I thought they handled the whole situation well.
Yeah.
And
Sammy got suspended.
Glad we can move
justifiably. Yeah. And it seems like he's making like some changes in his life, which I think are really positive. And I'm glad to see him back. Time will tell.
Yeah, we shall see. I can't wait. I mean, he's been a missing piece for me. I mean, it's just not the same without him.
He's a real star, and he's going to be a huge star as long as he keeps his head on straight.
It's true.
But, man, this was a hell of a show this week. Dynamite, I do agree this is one of the best episodes that they've done.
Oh, without question. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of promo. Like, the thing I love about an AEW promo, number one, they're really good. Number two, they make sense. And number three, they're not too long.
Yeah.
Like, how long was Eddie Kingston's promo? Like, three minutes?
Not even, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to send him out there for 15 minutes and just say a bunch of shit. Like,
right.
Like, at no point in a wrestling show should anyone talk for over 10 minutes.
Right.
Silly.
Well, my other favorite detail about that promo specifically was the fact that he came out with no music. It would make no sense for that character to have a fully produced theme right now.
Yeah, he's just showing up.
Exactly. Those little details are important to me.
And I love that this was a swerve, too.
Yeah.
Like, the Eddie Kingston appearance was a swerve because everyone thought it was going to be Warhorse, and now we get Warhorse this week.
Yep. Are you excited for that? I'm not as familiar with Warhorse.
Warhorse is definitely an acquired taste. And I have acquired said taste.
Yeah.
Small guy doing a big metal gimmick. He's essentially a tiny Ultimate Warrior.
Yep.
Who says crazy stuff and does crazy things. And I think will garner a lot of sympathy when Cody's really mean to him.
Totally. Yeah.
Is what my takeaway is going to be. But yeah, I'm excited for next week, man. Got the big 10-man tag. We got that Warhorse match. I think it's going to be hard for them to live up to this show. You can't do this every week.
Totally.
But what are some of the other matches that are announced for it so far?
Let me see if I can pull it up on the old Googletron.
The cyber web.
Next week, Dynamite matches.
Okay, so we got the Moxley and Darby Allin tag against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
We got
Tag team title match?
Uno Grayson and Omega and Hangman. That should be a banger.
Absolutely.
I feel like Uno has a lot to has a big chip on his shoulder probably to get a really good match in on TV because I don't think he's had that opportunity really.
Totally.
Cody and Warhorse, Inner Circle 10-man tag. That's an episode, my friend.
Sure is. Oh, and don't forget Diamante and Hikaru Shida, non-title match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's a big show. Big show.
Is there a world where Diamante beats Hikaru Shida?
Nah. No way.
No
way.
Okay.
Not yet. I think they could use that as fuel going into the tag team tournament for Diamante.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, like she puts in a good showing. They form a friendship. Maybe they're a team. That could be interesting.
Yeah, could work. Oh yeah, the Moxley, Darby Allin, and Brian Cage, Ricky Starks match is a tornado tag team match too.
Oh, that's great. I can imagine that. Well, it's probably
Moxley
insists. I think it's gonna open the show, more than likely.
I think it's a good idea. Just like have like this like crazy brawl with Jon Moxley to open it up.
Yeah, be great.
I think tag team title match could also open the show too if you want to just have a real banger.
That's fair. Absolutely, that is fair.
Or maybe
yes.
I believe the main event's the 10-man tag next week.
Yeah.
I would be totally cool if they just did the tag team title match as a main event. I think they need to start doing that a little more often, to be entirely honest.
I would agree, but it seems like they try to save Jericho for the end of the show. As he's like the biggest star. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
But man, hell of a show this week.
So good.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun. A lot of wrestling to watch. But you know what? That's always okay.
It's true. I love it.
So that brings us to the end of our show. Any final thoughts, Chuck? Or are you good? Good, and we can bring it on.
I mean, boy, we've talked so much, Frank. I like I said,
talked for like 2 hours.
One of the best episodes of Dynamite ever, I think, and also one of the best episodes of Dark as well. So like put those two things together. Hell of a week for AEW. Curious to see if they can continue to grow their audience again. Not a ratings guy, but I also am like very interested to see if they are able to capture those casual fans that are just clicking through. It's like you said, like the finish of that Young Bucks and Butcher and Blade match had over 1 million viewers. That means that something about that match caught people's eyes as they were just flipping around the old clicker. So it's like, what is it that's connecting with people, and can they build on that?
Dude, it had some halftime heat energy.
Sure. Oh boy.
But yeah, I'm very excited for next week. Thank you everybody for joining us this week. We appreciate it. We appreciate it, chat. Thank you to everyone who resubbed. Bitsoul, Bertrand, really appreciate it. Emperor, thanks for hanging out. Joey, good to have you here. Everybody, new people, I always appreciate it. You hit that follow button. We also have another show called This Is Awesome. We watch the greatest wrestling matches of all time, chosen by you, the watcher/listener. Dude, the Sapporo ran out. See, like talked about it like the top of the show. You need a good drink. Still ran out. But yeah, it's called This Is Awesome. We watch the greatest wrestling matches of all time, chosen by you, the listener/watcher. Season 8 is coming to a close, but season 9 is on its way. So if you want to suggest a match, you can just hit us up at TIAPod on Twitter. You can also email us at thisisawesomepod@gmail.com, or spin the wheel, make the deal. You can go on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. That's always helpful. Or you can give us like a different star rating and leave a match in the comments, and we will watch that match and we will talk about it on the show.
It's true. And we're of course, as always, we're gonna try to do be back next week. More than likely back at one of our regular nights, like a Thursday Friday deal. This was a little bit of a last minute change. Just
a little switcheroo.
Stuff.
Yeah, I was just at work. I couldn't leave.
That's how they get you.
It's really, yeah. They pay you to work and then you're not allowed to leave. But we've got an episode of TIA coming out next week, right, Chuck?
Yes, we do. It's a happy birthday match, Frank. It's a gauntlet.
Oh yeah,
hour long.
An hour-long gauntlet match. We're gonna be covering that, and you can get that at thisisawesomepod.com. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Just obliterate that subscribe button. Just like powerbomb it into a pile of tax. Cut a good promo on it. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because if we get more, then we get like the little custom URL thing, and then eventually we get ads, and then people watch it, and then it's a whole thing.
It's true.
So, yeah, you can help us out with that. So yeah, follow us on YouTube. We're easy to find. But until next week, I insist that you all watch Elite.
Watch Elite.
All right. I'm gonna press the outro button now.
Bye.